PR Connections Radio presents. This podcast is brought to you by Envision U. Envision U has discovered how to impact spirit, body, and soul with spray technology in just 30 seconds. With Envision U, you can achieve optimal health and start living the life you have always dreamed of. Use the promo code envisionu.com/VernDix to take control of your health naturally.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're hearing this podcast from. Welcome to my podcast, Prospering in Health and Wealth. My name is Werner Dixon. I'm with VM Enterprise, and I am wanting to have a discussion with you about health, wealth, and wellness, and talk about how they actually interrelate with each other and can create a better environment for you, create a better work environment for you, a life situation for you, particularly if you have your health and you can focus on generating your wealth. And I think we'd have a lot to have conversations about. If you're interested, hang around and get your friends and relatives on board. And so let's get underway. Thank you. Let's go. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Here in Las Vegas, I guess anybody else is afternoon or evening, depending on where you are, like I said before. Thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate you being here. And I think we got a pretty good show for you today. As you know, I'm obviously interested in making sure that your health is taken care of. And also based on your health being what it should be, then you can work on generating your wealth and your family legacy. And so with that in mind, I've been in a search, so to speak, for those resources to kind of bring to the program so that you can be introduced to new avenues of income production, health and wellness. How do you generate some additional income so you can pay for some of the health issues that may come up as a result of not being able to do that with your current environment, your insurance and those kind of things. So with that in mind, we have a guest today, a very, very awesome guest. An individual that was introduced to me by a very good friend. And I was talking to her about the show and the kind of things that I wanted to bring to you. She mentioned this particular lady by the name of Daphne Evans. And so I got to meet Daphne and we sat down and had a long conversation. So I haven't known her long, but I am impressed with her background. I'm impressed with her because of who she is. And so I'd like to see if I can go ahead and get her on the show and get her introduced, and let's get started. There she is. Good morning.
Good morning, Werner. How are you?
I am doing absolutely fabulous. And thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for being here this morning. I really appreciate it. I was just telling the folks, that I'm impressed with your background and everything you do. And so before I get carried away, let me go ahead and introduce this wonderful individual. Today, we're joined by Daphne Evans, a dynamic financial educator and founder of THLS. Wealth Strategies, and that the Happy Lady Speaks. That's what that THLS is for, Happy Lady Speaks. With over 30 years of corporate sales and a powerful mission to close the financial education gap, she now helps individuals and families protect their income, build legacy, and create peace of mind using tools like the Index Universal Life Insurance and Living Benefits. She's just awesome. She's not just about building wealth, but she's about preserving dignity and empowering lives. I mean, it's just, I could just go on in terms of how impressed I am with your background. So again, welcome, Daphne. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative and I'm honored to be here. I mean, I had to spiffy up today.
It's all about being spiffy, right?
Spiffy up. Vern's coming in his suit. I'm like, oh, I better.
Well, that's all good. That's all good. And like I was talking, we've had these conversations.
Mhm.
Like I said, I haven't known you that long, but I've been impressed with you and what you've been able to develop for yourself. Maybe I can ask you a question. Tell the folks a little bit about yourself and how you got to be where you are.
Oh my goodness, it's been a long road. I was in corporate America for 30 plus years. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and I've been very, very successful in a number of companies over time. But I also knew that my real passion was to also help people live a better life, a
Mhm.
higher vibration on a higher frequency. And, I always saw that people would get stuck in wherever it was. They didn't think that they could move. But in developing a lot of workshops and just some transformational scenarios for people and presenting them and talking to people, finances and future and retirement, those are some of the biggest components in terms of keeping people back.
Okay.
So, I was able to come up upon these strategies that I didn't know about. I didn't know about these. And, I've been around, my husband's been around. I didn't know about these strategies because they weren't really told to a lot of people. Some folks know about them, many
Yeah.
folks don't. And so when I started learning them, I thought, my God, this is a gold mine and I've got to spread the word. I need people to also help me spread the word. Platforms like this help me spread the word, but it's just information that's invaluable to people. So I've utilized my tools and my resources and my passions to, tell people about these tools because they are life changing and they certainly break the chains of generational curses and put people on the road to financial wealth.
Oh, that is awesome, and I think that's one of the things that how I relate to you as well, because I look for those opportunities to not only being able to generate income now, but
Hmm.
it's all about having a legacy
Yes,
and leaving something, because we don't get out of here alive. I mean, so that's the issue we have to deal
right.
with. And I've been telling folks over these few months that I've been doing this podcast that right now what I'm doing is trying to make sure that my grandkids are taken care of,
Hmm.
making sure
Hmm.
that their kids are taken care of. And so as I bring things to the table and introduce folks to not only the health side, but also
Right.
trying to find something on the wealth side,
Hmm.
this falls into place based on even what you're saying that you're trying to do, because I don't know everything out there. I'm not
Right.
going to be one of those people that say, I know everything about the healthcare system. I know
Right.
everything about the wealth system. So I
Right.
really appreciate you introducing us to this environment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things that's so key that, I've learned is that people are held back by their own mentality because they don't think they're rich enough.
Yeah.
I'm not wealthy enough to have anything in place. And that's the time when you really do need to have things in place because whatever little you have, you need to protect that for yourself and your family. Because the little you have, if placed correctly, can grow to big things that you'll have.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and when you talk about your grandchildren, you go into the homes of very wealthy people, and above the mantle are pictures of great grandfather and great
Yeah.
grandmother who started this legacy, and we're carrying it down. We need to have our pictures on that mantle. That's my
Yes.
mission.
Yes, yes. Oh my God, that's awesome. Not only pictures on the mantle, but I also talked about being healthy enough to when my grandbaby, who baby Shay, we call her baby Shay, she's 5 years old. She says, "Grandpa, can you play this game with me?" And I get down on the floor with her. I
Uh-huh.
want to be able to get up, So
Yeah,
that's the other
without
part.
her helping you.
Right, right. And so about the pictures being on the mantle, that's what those people of wealth or high
Mhm.
class, so to speak, they have those pictures on the mantle because
Mhm.
they have some of that generational wealth that been created by their forebearers, that kind of a thing.
Yeah,
And I think there's something like you mentioned, we haven't done, or we don't. I don't know if we
believe.
just, yeah, we don't believe, maybe we don't believe that we deserve it or whatever. But I could talk to you all day, and we
I
may
know.
have to end up having 3 or 4 shows. I don't know.
Let's
We'll
do it.
we'll see what
Mhm.
happens. But let's talk a little bit about what you provide. I mean, what
Okay.
is this? We talked a little bit about index universal life insurance policy.
hmm hmm
How does that differ from the term or whole life insurance? Maybe we can go
So,
there.
yeah, absolutely. So, an
Mhm,
index universal life policy is like a insurance policy on steroids with a savings account attached to it. The only
mhm,
thing is that the savings account grows really, really big because it utilizes compound interest. And it also protects your money against any market losses because it allows you to have a bigger cushion of gains. But when the market is low, then you're not going to lose any money. It's a permanent policy, unlike term. Term is a temporary policy. But again, the differences between an IUL and a whole life policy is just the way that it's going to accumulate the money and allow you to have the access to that money.
okay. I mean, in back in the day, way back in the day, I I don't know if you've heard of this individual by the name A.L. Williams.
Of course.
Okay, and I participated in that environment at the time, buy term and invest the difference, that kind of
Mhm,
thing. So,
mhm,
how does does that relate to what we're talking about? Is it because he's talking about the term, I guess, and so
mhm.
now I'm hearing that the other part should be dealt with as well.
Well, it's a difference in philosophy. A lot of times when you talk about buying term, and don't get me wrong, I mean I do market term insurance as well. I work in terms of whatever strategies are needed for my clients, and so does my team. So we don't shy away from term if that's needed, but we're not using that as the predominant factor
Mhm.
because in this day and age, what you'll learn is most wealthy environments are not utilizing term. They are utilizing the cash value aspect of insurance so that they can grow their wealth. Now, the philosophy with term is if you buy low, you can invest the difference. That sounds really, really good. And on paper, that sounds really, really good. But when you really look at the numbers, most people don't do that. Most people, if they have some excess money left over, they're going to use it to do something else other
Yeah,
than investment.
right, right.
A
Yeah,
pair of
they have
shoes
maybe
that look really good.
good intentions, right? Good intention. I mean,
Exactly.
so I mean, like you say, I mean, people have. I mean, when you think about insurance, I mean, you think, okay, insurance policy, and that's going to be good for when I die, and then my family won't have to be doing it. But you're talking about having a policy that you can take advantage of now as well as in the future. How does that work? I mean, okay.
Because an IUL provides something that no other type of insurance provides. And well, let me qualify that. There are some term policies that we have that provide it, but in terms of living benefits, when you look at when someone is faced with, a curveball that life has brought to them, that could be, a chronic illness, that could be a terminal diagnosis, that could be a critical illness or a critical event that's taken place. When you look at the hospitalization bills and the medical bills that are associated with those types of events, that is one of the predominant factors that causes people to file bankruptcy. And
Mhm.
80% of the people who file bankruptcy due to medical expenses have hospitalization. But I'm sure you're aware, as well as people in the audience are aware, hospitalization doesn't cover everything. So not only are you faced with now a cancer diagnosis, but now you have medical expenses that are associated with that. But on top of that, you still have your everyday expenses that you were trying to pay as well. You've got mortgages, you've got car insurance, you've got car payments, you've got kids in college, you've got all kinds of things going on. So when people are not able to pay their bills, 9 times out of 10, they're going to have more stress.
Yeah.
It's going to take them longer to heal, and they're going to have a lot of money doled out. They're going to go through their savings. They're going to probably try to get second and third mortgages. It's a nightmare. But then you have the influx of living benefits. And what the living benefits do is they provide income to you by accelerating the death benefit within that policy so that you can go on and heal. You can go on and pay your bills. You don't have to worry about the financial aspect of it just because you've run into a medical event that's a brick wall to you. So that is the biggest thing that living benefits, and everybody needs to have them. Living benefits is not something that is just for elderly people or older people. My kids have them and they're young. And I mean, we're setting them up for children, babies who are born as long as they're 15 days old, because you want to set your family up for financial success.
Yeah.
And so living benefits allow you to live, don't die, live, and still be okay, and
Yeah.
go on and heal, and go
Yeah.
on and heal. That's what
Yeah.
they do.
I mean, yeah. And I think you're right. I mean, I've been in the hospital a couple of times, and the things that you do worry about because you're stuck there in the hospital and you can't do some of the other things that you need to take care of.
Right.
And so, I mean, you see different programs or different, even movies about people who are in situations like that.
Yeah.
They get sick, end up in a financial straits, end up losing everything because they
Everything.
haven't prepared for that. And
Yes.
so, yeah. And so
Yes.
this makes it feel, I mean, you go to the hospital and you deal with getting well. You don't deal
Mhm.
with the other issues that kind of stress
Right.
you out.
Exactly. Exactly. In addition to providing the living benefits, you do have the availability inside of an IUL to have your money growing for you tax free. If you want to take that money out via a loan, it's tax free. You don't have to pay it back unless you want to. And one of the biggest aspects with an index universal life policy is the fact that it is indexed against the market. So what that means, Ferner, is that the market goes up and down, up and down. And people
Yeah.
who are in the stock market, I mean, I've got stocks, I'm sure you do too. But when the stocks are high, the market's high, you're like, yeah, I'm making money. And when it goes low, it's like, oh, okay, well, not making money, but it'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to gain and you're going to lose. You're going to gain and you're going to lose. And IUL provides you the opportunity to mimic what the market does. Your monies are not in the market. So when the market is up, you're going to gain money. You're going to earn money. But here's what happens when the market goes down. You're locked in at that last level of your gain, and you're not going to lose a dime. And I can sit here and unequivocally tell you that when you are invested in an IUL as your insurance policy or one of your tools, you never lose money. And you cannot say that. You cannot say that when you're in the stock market, because it is a gamble.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, right. So you're saying that as you get an increase in the health or the wealth of your policy, and if everything else is going to help in a handbag, so to speak,
Mhm.
it locks you in at a
Yes,
certain level. And
it
so
locks you
everything
in.
else can just kind of fall away, but you stay there until things kind of catch up and go back.
Yes, exactly. And then when the market goes back up, then you start going up from the last stage of your increase. It's just like a staircase. It just goes up, goes up, goes up,
Okay. That's a great analogy.
goes up, goes up, goes up. So you never lose money.
Okay,
You never
okay.
lose money.
Now, in terms of not losing money, how about the tax benefit? How does that work into the situation?
So there are three different areas that, if you're going to have a diversified portfolio, so you're going to have obviously tools that are taxed now. So your savings account, if you have an emergency fund, right? You're supposed to have an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of your expenses in your emergency fund. That's basically going to be in a savings account because you need to have that as being your liquid asset.
Yeah,
So it's going to be,
available.
you have to
Yeah,
have it available. So
yeah.
you're going to get taxed on that immediately. You pay your taxes every year, you get taxed on that. There's also your tax later. So when you have your 401ks or your 403bs, those are instruments where you're going to contribute pre-tax dollars, right? So if you're working and you have your 401k, your job is taking those dollars out before taxes and putting them in your 401k.
Okay.
And then you're going to have your tax advantage. That's going to be like your cash value life insurance or your Roth IRAs or your municipal bonds. You're not going to get taxed on those. So as your money is earning inside of your IUL, when you take that money out, it's not taxed. So there's your tax advantage as your money is earning, and it's earning on a compound interest rate or a compound scenario. You're not getting taxed on that. So
That is,
there's your taxes.
yeah, that is phenomenal. I mean, it just sounds like this is the is there a perfect vehicle out there in terms of kind of moving in that direction in terms of leaving a legacy or your long-term
Oh
health
my
and
gosh.
wealth? Okay, that is sounding more and
That's
more like
it.
this. Yeah, okay.
Listen, there have been, when you look at, there was a well-known coach for a well-known university. Um, he had an IUL. He had the university set up an IUL for him, like a $7 million IUL, right? And that was set up for several reasons. It was set up so that the university could be protected, but his family could also be protected. He could also move it. The monies that were earned were tax advantage, and he had access to that as well. Um, a lot of your athletes utilize IULs. A lot of your corporate executives. I mean, listen, cash value life insurance is how J.C. Penney got started.
Okay.
Cash value
Okay.
life insurance is really how Disneyland got started. Disney World got started. Walt Disney used that.
Yeah.
So it's an asset. It is not something that is utilized for a negative. It's an asset. And that's the mindset shift to understand that your insurance is an asset that will help you gain generational wealth. It is not something that you get because you're going to die.
Okay. Awesome. When you're talking about Walt Disney and other companies like that in terms of using this type of policy
Hmm.
or instrument to grow their wealth, I mean, it kind of indicates to me that this is something that you can use to pull, like you hear rich folks. I don't know if I can use that term. Rich folks have money, but
Yeah.
they don't spend their money. They borrow against it.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like that's what this instrument will allow you to do, borrow against it. You can
Absolutely.
do other investments or whatever. So
Absolutely. And if you get it and you keep it long term, now this is not something where you're going to utilize it and pull from it. You get it this year and you pull from it next year
right,
but
right,
if
right.
you're familiar with the term be your own bank, it is based on
Yes.
these IULs. Now you do keep them for a while. It's not like you're utilizing this, every willy-nilly, every day, every month, but if you keep it and you let it grow, you certainly have the power, the financial power within yourself to bank your family, to make sure that your family doesn't ever have to use the bank for a loan for anything. This is what you do. This is exactly what you do.
This,
Can I
this,
make one statement? I
yes,
wanted to
yes,
make something else too.
sure.
When I was mentioning your 401ks, when I was talking about the tax now, tax later, tax
Okay.
advantage, your 401ks are pre-tax dollars, and you don't pay taxes on that as you're contributing to your 401k. But I do want the audience to understand that when you're ready to pull your money from your 401k, guess what? You're going to get taxed.
You go to,
And you're
yeah.
going to get taxed at the tax rate at that time. So when you think about it, when you have, four, five, 600,000, $1 million in your 401k, and you're really, really proud, and you should be proud if you've been able to do that. When you're ready to take that money out, unless you're looking at something else, you're going to get taxed about a third
About a
at that
third.
time. So the good thing is to talk to somebody like me, or
Yes, yes.
before, like if you're 59 and a half, before it's time for you to take that money out, so we can start doing some things to prevent your taxation from being astronomical. So that's what it's all about, planning.
Yes. I guess I'm sitting here with a smile on my face because I mean I've talked to folks about, and maybe not so much on my program here, but that's one of my other issues that I'm dealing with by being your own bank. And so
Hmm.
this is another component of being your own bank, helping you finance yourself when you need that. Like you say, you don't pull out it every month to pay your bills, that kind of thing. You got a project in mind that you have to take care of, and you're looking around going, where do I get the money from? And now you can go in here to your index universal life plan and look at that, pull some money out, and then move it back in, pay it back, you do your thing, but you do it over time to get that done. But this is helping people move to that next level.
Yes.
Helping people understand that, yes, you can control your own money.
Yes.
You have methods and opportunities to do that. But so many people just don't know where that is.
They don't know where.
Right. And now we know Daphne does, right?
Here's a very interesting statistic. I read this in a book a while ago. There are different socioeconomic levels, right? If you look at planning, very wealthy people, they plan well ahead of time. So that's why I want to make sure that if you're looking at the be your own bank concept, this is a long-term concept. It is not something that you're in and out as soon as you get something like this IUL. But it's a long-term. Very poor people, people who may be like your day workers, they are looking at day to day. I need to get through the day. And then you have poor people who are looking at, I'm just going to get through the week.
Yeah.
And then usually middle class looking to get through the month. Got to pay your monthly rent or your car payment or your credit card payments. So you're looking at the month. Then you go into your rich categories, and rich people are generally looking at planning out annually. So what kind of income am I looking at for this year? What kind of income am I looking at for next year? But the very wealthy people, they plan out decades. They've got business plans and financial plans that span decades. And so when you're talking about providing generational wealth, that is how they're doing it, because it is a long-term plan.
Right.
So moving people from short-term to the longest term possible is really a goal, because we need to move towards a long-term thinking. If we're looking at children, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, and leaving a legacy.
And there's so many people living day to day, and they don't have or didn't have the resources to look at long-term planning. And so that's what I'm espousing the folks who are watching this program to at least do something a little extra so that you can have that income to help give you those long-term opportunities. And so that's what this is all about. This is just an awesome opportunity to talk to people, to talk to you about one of these options that's on the table. Like I said, I don't know everything out there. And so if I can find people like yourself to talk to the people that listen to this program and give them ideas, give them ways to start thinking about what next to do in terms of if they want to support themselves in situations.
Absolutely. And, it's not like I have always had the golden spoon for this. I've made a ton of mistakes growing up. I think we all have, when we get that first credit card and it's like, oh, I could just go swipe, right? We've all been there. It's not, but learning along the way and being able to put things together with some success, and then coming into research and just learning and being open to learn, that's what's got me to this point. And I just am passionate about turning around and pulling other people into this knowledge, because it is so important. It is so important, especially in this day and age.
Awesome. Well, look like we're going to be running out of time. I'm going to have you back, because we didn't get through half of the things that I want to ask you about. So tell the folks right quick, and they can reach me and get some additional information, but tell the folks right quick how they can reach you.
You can reach me. Listen, I'm on all the platforms. I am Instagram. I am Daphne _ the happy lady. I'm on Facebook at Daphne Evans, or my quote is at facebook.com/Daph, DAPH008. You can reach out to me at 888-998-2161. I had to look at that. Yeah, 2161. So 888-998-2161. But I am always available, and I do appreciate this opportunity, Werner. Thank you so much.
All righty. Well, thank you, Daphne, for being here. I really appreciate it. And like I said, we're going to have you back because there's just too much here to handle in this half hour that we're dealing with. So from that point on, so thank you very much. You have a blessed day. And
thank you.
I guess we need, all righty. Thank you.
You as well. Thanks again, Werner. Bye-bye.
You're welcome, love. And everybody else out there, thank you so much for attending the program today. And be ready to come back next Tuesday at 10 o'clock to look at prosperity and health and wealth and see if we can teach you something or find out something that you didn't know. So until then, the best is yet to come. Have a blessed day. Thank you.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.